start anyway. Now, so first of all, I just want to wish you all a very happy Christmas and happy New Year. And just starting there from yeah, thanks very much, Ari. Happy Christmas, happy New Year. Just starting there from the top left corner, we've got an expression for some people, for people who dare say who are not familiar with the Irish language. Top left corner, we have Nullig Honna G of Glare is pronounced. Nullig Honna G of Glare. And that means happy Christmas to you all. Just to the right of that then, we have a picture with two wine glasses or two champagne glasses. And in that it says, Vlain Fui Masha Ditch. Vlain Fui Masha Ditch. That means Happy New Year to you all. Then moving then to the right, I'm just going to bring to your attention three different traditions, both ancient and more modern, that have happened in Ireland over the centuries. So on the right, top right, we have a structure called Newgrange. So all across Ireland during the Neolithic was the New Stone Age. There were these passage tombs were built around Ireland, and they're to mark the winter solstice. And this is the most famous one, Newgrange. So basically, on the 21st of December every year, and I've got a cursor here, this building here, Newgrange, and it's 5,000 years old. And there's an entrance. So there's the entrance to Newgrange, if you can see my cursor. But on the 21st of December, the shortest day of every year, the sun shines right in that doorway, shines right up the passage chamber, illuminates the centre of the passage for about 5-10 minutes, and retreats. And it's quite a feat of ancient technology that could happen because, you know, again, it was built in the New Stone Age 5,000 years ago. So that's a tradition of Ireland, and Newgrange is the most famous one. Next, and then to the left of that, then we have St. Stephen's Day, the 26th of December. And in Irish, it's known as Lá Féile Stephan, St. Stephen's Day. And it's a tradition in Ireland. In other parts of the world, particularly the UK, it's called Boxing Day. But on the 26th of December in Ireland, we've got St. Stephen's Day, and we have events around Ireland known as the Wren's Boys. It's kind of like a Halloween. It's kind of like a trick-or-treat you have on Halloween. People might be more familiar with. But people dress up anyway in these straw-type costumes. This is quite a famous one in County Kerry in the southwest of Ireland, in a place called Kilorgan. And they basically parade through the streets and play music and etc. Kind of looking for money, I suppose, and it's a way of kind of getting some money back there, say, after your Christmas. So that's another tradition from Ireland. And the last one in the bottom left, this is Nullig na Mán. That's Women's Christmas, and that's on the 6th of January every New Year. The 6th of January, of course, on the Christian calendar is the Epiphany, and that's when it's the last day of the 12 days of Christmas, and it's when the three wise men have turned up with the gifts. But there is a tradition in Ireland. Nullig na Mán means Women's Christmas. And the tradition is, dare I say, around the Christmas period itself, when the women, dare I say, well, we're now in a more equal era, but the women, dare I say, would have made the dinner over the years. But Women's Christmas on the 6th of January, that's when the men are meant to return the favour and cook the Christmas dinner. So that's Nullig na Mán. Now, I have a newsletter coming out, and I did delay that newsletter for winter because of the passing of Franz Mloy, because I wanted to reach out to the family. I was going to put a little small acknowledgement in it of his passing. I wanted to reach out to the family, make sure that they were happy doing that. That's why the newsletter has been delayed. Now, we move on to the lecture itself. Now, coat of arms. This is a summary of a coat of arms. We've got different parts of a coat of arms. And here, just I've taken the Tullamore Rugby Football Club coat of arms, just as an example. At the top of a coat of arms, you have an item called a crest. This is a phoenix in this particular one. That's called a crest. Left and right, you can have items called supporters. So these bears are supporters. The one on the left is called a dexterous supporter. The one on the right is called a sinister supporter. And underneath, okay, here it does say Tullamore Rugby Football Club, but underneath you have the motto typically. And in the centre you have the shield. That's the shield, basically. So that's the different items of a coat of arms. Some have supporters, some don't, etc. Also in heraldry for coat of arms, colours have got different traditional names, and they come from Latin and French. So red is known as gules, blue is known as azure, green is known as vert, black is known as sable, and purple is known as purpur. Gold is known as ore, silver or white is known as argent. And you've got two different designs which are often used. The one there on the left, which I'm pointing to, is ermine, and the one to the right of that is vair. Now, the concept of heraldry is quite new to Ireland compared to other European countries, and heraldry was brought to Ireland by the Normans from 1066 AD. Before then, concepts of heraldry in Ireland didn't exist. Now, though many Irish coat of arms, such as Malloy, their influence and their design derive from each other. Because heraldry was kind of new coming to Ireland, a lot of them were probably created around the same time, estimated in the area of 1300 to 1400s. Move on to the next slide. These are some examples of some national coat of arms. So here on the top left, this is an older version of the Irish coat of arms, the coat of arms of Ireland. And Ireland is typically represented by a harp, golden harp with white strings. But the older Irish coat of arms had a crest on top, and that crest had a castle with a stag coming out of it. Now, the origin of that castle is unknown, but it probably comes from the Spanish coat of arms, which I'm moving to the right, because there are traditions of a people called the Milesians come to Ireland in the late Bronze Age, and they were meant to come from Spain. Now, so to the right of that, now we have the Spanish coat of arms. There's a lion, a rampant lion, and I'm going to allude to that shortly, why I'm having the Spanish coat of arms. And also we have the castle from Castile, which perhaps the Irish crest originally came from. To the right of that, we have the coat of arms of Scotland. We've got these two supporters, which are unicorns, the shield and the crest and mottos on top. Coat of arms of the UK, United Kingdom, shield in the centre, supporters either side, Dexter and Sinister, mottos, crest on top. We've got the coat of arms of the United States of America. You might have heard of that country. Only joking, yeah. United States of America. The shield in the centre. You have 13 white and red stripes. We have an eagle in the background. And different things, your stars on top. Coat of arms of Canada. Supporters either side. South Africa. Australia. New Zealand. So just try to show them an example. Now moving on. Now just quickly as a disclaimer, there are different versions of the origin of different coat of arms, and this dare say is based on my own research and my own views that I took from that. So here we have the Malloy coat of arms. On the top you have the crest. Underneath that we have what's called a wreath. We have the shield itself. We have the motto, and we have the Malloy surname in Irish. Owilu. Owilu with different pronunciation. I've always been told as Owilu, but anyways, yeah. Now, so moving on. Now, we start off with the rampant lion. This is called a rampant lion. And the rampant lion in the Malloy coat of arms is meant to have come from a people called the Milesians. Now, I'll move on to the next slide shortly. In Irish mythology and tradition, and I've said this before, dare I say, in previous lectures, so these are kind of hopefully linking up. I was kind of hopefully going somewhere with the kind of presentation I was doing before. But according to tradition, there are 7 waves of people that are meant to come to Ireland in ancient times. The Fomorians, the Kesser, the Partholon, the Nemid, the Fairbog, the Two of the Danann, and a later people called the Milesians of the late Bronze Age. And an emblem of the Milesians is meant to have been a rampant lion. So we'll go back to the previous slide. And that on the Malloy coat of arms, that black line is the rampant lion. So that indicates that the Malloys have lineage from these Milesian peoples that are meant to come to Ireland in the late Bronze Age. So according to Irish tradition, an elite peoples called the Milesians or Brigantians are said to have come to Ireland from Asia Minor via the Mediterranean and the Iberian Peninsula to Ireland in the late Bronze Age. Asia Minor, that's modern Turkey. The Iberian Peninsula, that's now what's Spain and Portugal. And the Milesians are meant to be led by a person called Herman, with 2 different spellings in Old and Modern Irish, and that's anglicised as Herman. And Herman's emblem again was a lion. Milesian is said to be etymologically related to Mil España, and that means the son of Mil. And note that Spain today in Spanish is España. An alternative name for the Milesians was the Brigantians, said to have derived from an ancestor called Brogan. And again, the emblem of Herman or Erman of the Milesians or Brigantians was said to be in a rampant lion. So that's the origin of the lion. Note that up to the 3rd century BC, lions did live in Turkey, Greece, and the Balkans, and is from Asia Minor, modern-day Turkey again, that the Milesians are said to have come to Ireland according to tradition. Remember back to the times of the Roman Empire, you would have had lions in the Colosseum, etc., all these kind of things anyway. But lions did exist even in that period in Southeast Europe. Now, I've just gone through that slide. Now, and the rampant Milesian lion, it does display in many of the Irish coat of arms, particularly Irish coat of arms of O'Neill origin. And that's why generally widely that is the generally widely accepted reason why the rampant lion appears in so many Irish family coat of arms. And the rampant lion on the old Malay coat of arms, it proclaims again that the Malays have ancient descent from Milesians, Bricantians said to have come to Ireland in the late Bronze Age. Here's different examples of Irish coat of arms with lions on it. Now, right, so moving on. Now, again, all these coat of arms probably were created around the same time, but they do have connections and kind of evolution from each other. Now, we're going to start off with the O'Neill coat of arms. And the O'Neills of Ulster, they see themselves as the direct descendants and inheritors of the O'Neill dynasty. Now, Malay does come from the O'Neill dynasty, but the O'Neills, they see themselves as being coming from a kind of a straight line. And the shield on the O'Neill coat of arms depicts two Milesian rampant lions claiming the red hand of Ireland. Now, notice, today, of course, the red hand is associated with Ulster, but in older times, it was seen as the red hand of Ireland. And the motto of the O'Neill was the law of Jarrag Erin. In Irish, that means red head of Ireland. But anyway, so they're claiming the red head of Ireland on behalf of the O'Neill dynasty. And above that, we've got three six-pointed stars. Those stars are to proclaim the noble origins of the O'Neill family as the direct descendants and inheritors of the O'Neill dynasty. On the bottom of the shield is shown the salmon of knowledge, with blue representing the waters of the River Boyne. And that is to depict the province of Meath origin of the O'Neills. Now, the O'Neills, they did end up in northwest Ulster, but they're meant to have come originally from the province of Meath. And above the shield, the crest again, it does depict Nuada's arm of the sword and the sword of light. Nuada and the arm of the sword of light, they're legendary connections of northwest Ulster with a people called the Two of the Danann and the Grinan of Orlock Hillfort. So the area that the O'Neills of Ulster that are moved up to, that area is meant to have originally part of overseen by people called the Two of the Danann. Now, if I move back to the previous slide, 2 slides previous, the second wave of people coming to Ireland, according to tradition, were called the Two of the Danann, and they particularly had a preference in northwest Ireland. Now, and of course, the motto again is law of Jarrag Erin, and that's the red hand of Ireland. Now, moving on. So the salmon of knowledge, I know this isn't Malay, but I just want to explain quickly. So the salmon of knowledge, anyway, it's an ancient Irish folk tale, and it tells of a person called Finn McCoo who was cooking a salmon that fingers caught in the River Boyne. And according to Irish traditional mythology, the first thing to come into creation in Ireland was a hazel tree, and it was in its branches contained all the knowledge of the universe. This hazel tree flourished over the Tubar Segus, that means the well of wisdom in the Irish language, and within which lived a great salmon. It was said that this salmon ate the hazelnuts, which on one occasion fell into the well. This therefore meant it acquired all the wisdom of the world. It is said that the first person to catch and eat the salmon will gain this knowledge, and the person would be named Fionn. However, many tried and failed to catch it. However, a poet named Fingus, having spent 7 years fishing the Boyne, did succeed to catch it. Fingus instructed his young apprentice named Finn McCoo to prepare for him. Finn, however, burnt his thumb, burst and split a blister on the cooking salmon. He immediately put his thumb into his mouth to ease the pain, and in an instant he acquired all the knowledge, as discussed above. When Fionn brought the cooked meal to Fingus, his master saw something in the young boy's eyes that had not been there before. When asked by Fingus, Fionn denied that he had eaten the fish. However, when pressed, he admitted that he accidentally tasted it. It meant that Fionn gained all the incredible knowledge and wisdom gained from the salmon of knowledge. It later allowed Fionn McCoo to become the leader of the Fianna, the famous heroes of Irish myth. Anyway, that's a bit of an aside, but that's the meaning of the fish on the O'Neill coat of arms. As another aside as well, have you ever heard of the term Finghin? It's a bit derogatory, dare I say. Finghin is a derogatory term for an Irish nationalist. Finghin comes from this gentleman, Finn McCoo. So moving on. Now, top left then we have the Grind of Orlock Hillfort. That Hillfort is meant to be built originally by people called the Two of the Danann. On this map of Ireland where my cursor is, Grind of Orlock is located there. So that was a Two of the Danann Hillfort originally, but the O'Neills, they acquired that and it became the seat of the Northern O'Neills. This is the Northern O'Neill dynasty. And that's just kind of repeating what I've just said. Below that then we have the O'Donnelly coat of arms. The O'Donnelly then, they derive from O'Neill. Their coat of arms is a copy pretty much of O'Neill, but it doesn't have the 3 stars on top because the O'Donnellys, they don't see themselves as that direct inheritor of the O'Neill dynasty. And O'Donnelly, it derives from descendant of Dognall, a great-grandson of Dognall, of the Northern O'Neills, kings of Orlock. Right, so moving on, I'll catch the time actually now. Now, so deriving then from the coat of arms of O'Neill and Donnelly, we're now going to move into the southern O'Neill area. And I'm going to go back to this screen here. So this is the northern O'Neill. That's where the O'Neills kind of ended up in, and the Donnellys and other clans. Down here, we have the southern O'Neill, what was the province of Meath. But in the province of Meath, a people called the O'Melaghlin of Clan Coleman, they became dominant, and that's their coat of arms. This coat of arms derives from Donnelly and O'Neill. But rather than having two rampant lions, we got a single rampant lion, we got three red hands, and we have the salmon of knowledge of the boyne underneath. Now, that just repeats what I just said. The residents of, the territory of O'Melaghlin, it was southern O'Neill, and he sent it from a site called Ishnock, and I've mentioned that before in previous Zooms. But the residents of the O'Melaghlin was done Skehan, the Fort of the Shields, and that's near the modern town of Mullingar. And the O'Melaghlins are descended from Mael Shopton, King of Meath, High King of Ireland, in the area of 980 to 1002. So that's the O'Melaghlins. Now, and I am going somewhere with this, by the way, so anyways now. Deriving from the O'Melaghlin coat of arms, we then have the McGeegan of Kill Faithful coat of arms. So we have this single rampant lion and the three hands. Oh, one thing I missed here actually. These three hands are different explanations, but the three hands, red hands, they're meant to represent. One is meant to represent the Conall Crumpton of the Southern O'Neill. The other two are meant to represent two branches of the Northern O'Neill. And that's the Kinlow and the Kinconall and the Kinlow. And they gave themselves to Tyrconnell and Tyrone. Tyrconnell became Donegal. Tyrone is County Tyrone. They're in the northwest of Ireland anyway. But anyway, so this coat of arms anyway, that's where the McGeegans came. The McGeegans, they've got three hands around us, the rampant lion in the centre. And the McGeegans, they were off the Kennel Fiach. Now, above the McGeegan coat of arms, there's a crest, and the crest has a hound hero called Cú Riú, and in Irish that means the Red Hound King. So that's that represents there basically. So, and the Cú Riú was a warrior according to Irish folklore. He is said to have hailed from the province of Munster, but came to the rescue of the province of Connacht in wars against the province of Ulster. Now, you have to remember the modern boundaries of Ireland's provinces were different in ancient times. And if you go really back in time, according to tradition, there was a province of Meath, but go even further, there were 4 provinces with different boundaries. And the Ishnock area of the province of Meath, that actually was Connacht, including most of the McGeegan lands. So, yeah, that's not that. But in various stories anyway, Cú Riú, he was meant to be one of the finest warriors of Ireland, but he met his death due to malicious treachery. And his death was followed by a huge cycle of revenge. And the message of this crest on top of the McGeegan coat of arms is that, should you wish to fight us, do it fairly, or you meet the revenge of Cú Riú. Above the crest then of McGeegan in Latin, we have the phrase Semper Patera Serva Presto, and that means always ready to serve our country. And it's generally accepted that McGeegan in Irish, derives from the name Oaken Magdalen. He's said to have been High King of Ireland in the area of 344 to 351 AD. That's according to one of the Irish annals of Forrest Fassa Erin. Oaked Murden is said to have been the father of Niall ní Gallach, Knight of the Nine Hostages, said to have been King of Ireland from 368 to 395 AD. So that's McGeegan. Now, going to go on a bit of a tangent. This is going somewhere anyway. So this is a simplification of what are said to have been the Gaelic era Kings of Ireland, the Connacht dynasty. So some key names anyway. It was founded by a guy called Tuatha Tachmar in the 80 to 100 AD period. And from that, then we got people called, we have Con Céad Catach, Con of the 100 Battles, Art McCoon, Cormac MacArt, and Oaked Murden. Just pause quick. Can everybody still hear me? Can everybody still see the slide? Just make sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's just make sure. So in the area of 344 AD, Oaked Murden, and he is meant to be, is the McGeegans, they're said to have claimed their ancestry from that gentleman. Rather than going to the Bruin lion, which was the legitimate lion, it actually went to, this Oaked was married twice. His first wife was Mungfind. and it should have gone, well, perhaps it should have gone to a son called Brian, but instead went to Niall Nigalach, Niall of the Nine Hostages, and he was the son of the second wife, Karen Castove. So this O'Neill dynasty broke away from the Connacht and created this new dynasty of O'Neill, and us Malloys actually are descended from this branch here, basically. Then, around the area of 1002, the Dalcosh dynasty, a guy called Brian Brew became the High King of Ireland. He founded another dynasty became part of the High Kingship of Ireland. And they're the lines of the O'Briens. There's another one then, the Diarmid MacMailbogue, and there was the Cossack dynasty. But anyway, the Connacht dynasty, the O'Browns and the O'Connors, they saw themselves as the real claimants of the O'Connor dynasty. Later, Torach Mór O'Connor is meant to have been the High King of Ireland in 1119, and he is said, according to tradition, has a claim that he actually can derive his origins back to the Connacht dynasty. But also, through marriage, Torach O'Connor's mother was a daughter of Torach O'Brien. So Torach O'More, he actually is meant to have united the Connacht and the Dalcosh dynasty. Now, so that's that there. I'll move on. So, yeah. Now, so the O'Neill and the Dalcosh. This is just a side about Brian Brew. This is the Brian Brew here mentioned. So Brian Brew, he was meant to be a fearsome legendary High King of Ireland, particularly famous for taking on the invading Vikings, and he led the famous Battle of Clontarf over the Vikings in 1014 AD. However, Brian lost his life at the end of the battle, where he was said to have been slain in an attempt by a praying Viking. So this is the symbol of the O'Neill dynasty, and that's the symbol of the Dalcosh dynasty. Following his death, Mael Shapnock MacDowell of the O'Neill was restored as king. However, there was a lot of turmoil created. Anyways, yeah. But anyway, this marriage between the Dalcosh and the Connacht dynasty, it kind of brought some peace to Ireland. And this Torach O'Connor became the High King of Ireland. And Torach O'Connor, he saw himself as being directly descended from the Connacht. So in effect, the Connacht dynasty was restored. The direct line of the Connacht dynasty. That's what tradition says anyway. However, Torach Mór, his father, Ruaidh, he was blinded by his foster son. And he seized the throne of Connacht. And so with his father being blinded, his mother also died in early years. But basically, because of that, anyway, Torach was raised by the Dalcosh as a foster child. So anyway, so as I said, Torach O'Connor, he claimed the High King of Ireland through his father of the Connacht via the Brún O'Connor line, as mother via the Dalcosh dynasty. So Torach Mór O'Connor, he wasn't just Connacht, he also was a grandson of High King of Ireland, Torach O'Brien, and great-great-grandson of legendary High King of Ireland, Brian Brew. Now, however, what is interesting, I hope I'm not boring you too much, but I hope I'm going somewhere, is that the McGeogans, so up until around this area, the O'Neills, they had a full succession of High Kings from, if I go back to this chart here, of High Kings from Niall Gaelic right down here, right down to Brian Brew. This area here, there were kings, just haven't put them in. This whole area here was dominated by the O'Neills. But the McGeogans, anyway, they chose the surname Geoghegan because they saw themselves as being descendant right to this gentleman here, before the split, before the O'Neill broke away from the Connacht. So anyway, that's the origin of the McGeogans anyway. And they saw themselves anyway as being neutral in this O'Neill Connacht kind of split. Now, so that's their bird anyway. So we're moving on to the Malloy coat of arms. So the Malloy coat of arms, it takes its design from the McGeogans. So there was originally, so the Malloys and the McGeogans, they originally were the one kingdom. And they were the Kinnell Faochach. The Kinnell Faochach's on this map here. So the Malloys split from McGeogan, and they created the kingdom of Ferco to the south of us. And that happened following Milwee was slain in battle in 1019 AD. He became the ancestor of the Umwewees, the Malloys, who were the breakaway from the Kinnell Faoch. Now, it is said anyway that the reason that Malloys anyway has got a black line rather than red is because there was then this kind of dispute that was going on between the O'Neills and the Connacht and the Malloys, whereby they wanted to have a line to show that they did have O'Neill lineage. They wanted to stay neutral in that. That's where the black line comes into effect. No, so that's that basically anyway. So just here, these are just maps of Ireland with different versions of the provinces over the centuries. Malloy's actually, the Ferkel territory was actually mostly, what later became Ferkel was actually part of Munster. This is before Meath kind of spread. So Malloy territory was actually part of Munster. But this is a map of the province of Ireland according to tradition, according to the Ferbog map in the late Bronze Age. This is a later Tuatha Danann map of Ireland, and these are the provinces as of today. Now, again in heraldry, so black in heraldry. So originally in traditional heraldry, there was no colour black. Black was actually used in heraldry for black. This is actually an older coat of arms for the province of Connacht. Today, the eagle is black, but the eagle originally was red. Even dare I say the Jolly Roger flag of pirates, dare I say, it actually is meant to be in red originally, became black in later years. And Jolly Roger in French actually is Jolly Rouge, and that literally means pretty red. That's what Jolly Roger actually means. And remember too that in older times the making and mixing of colours was not always advanced as later times. Black was a difficult colour to produce, so red was usually used. As an aside too, believe it or not, both Guinness and Coca-Cola, though they look black, they're actually both red. Hence the red logo for the Coca-Cola. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, there was tradition in later times of red being switched to black, and the Malay scenes have used that as a reason to go from the red rampant lion to the black lion. Now, the trefoil. So, surrounding in anyway the black rampant lion of the Malise and O'Neills, of the Malays, we've got 3 trefoils that surround the lion. Now, and the trefoils in heraldry, they donate trinity of Christianity. So, in Irish heraldry, a trefoil is often equated to a shamrock. Note again that the Malay coat of arms has replaced the 3 red hands of O'Neill from the coat of arms of McGagan. And this again is likely a symptom of the times when the power of the Southern O'Neill was being replaced by the Connacht O'Brien O'Connor. And red as a choice of the trefoils, however, is taken for the colour of these 3 hands on the McGagan. The red also, however, represents martyrdom. And regarding the reason for the choice of the trefoils, remember also that the kingdom of Ferkel means men of churches. So unlike the Keenal lands to the north, which the O'Malays broke away from, Ferkel has a rich Christian church building tradition with several ancient abbeys and churches such as Liney, Rahan, Calahi, Bullyboy, Drumcolin and Agish, and abbeys such as Drumcolin and Killion, Kilcormac and Rahan. So anyway, so the 3 trefoils, you're looking at Christianity. This happened in other coat of arms. For example, here we have the Gallaghers of Donegal, one was Tyrconnell, and they have a similar design, but they have green trefoils, and that's meant to be associated by St. Columkill, who was active in the Donegal area. Here to the right centre, we have Ancient Church of Ratton, one of the churches of the Ferkel kingdom. And of course, we have Clonmacnoise, which is the most dominant monastery in Ireland, and it was located just to the west of Ferkel. So yeah, so the trefoils, anyway, we're talking Christianity. Now, so moving on, the O'Malloy Crest. Now, so at the top of the O'Malloy Crest, we have a hound and a 3. And the hound, again, is inspired by the coat of arms of McGagan. The crest on the O'Malloy arms depicts the hound, and that's again to represent the legendary warrior Cúree, and that's Cúriarú. That means the Cúriarú. That means the red-haired king of Munster, apparently, Banias. But also featuring there's an oak tree, and the oak tree is meant to represent Dara MacDahad, and that's Curu's father. So it derives from the idea of Cúree and the McGagan coat of arms, but it's a bit different. However, what's interesting is that the actual design of the Malloy crest of both the hound and the oak tree, they take inspiration of the hound of Clonmacnoise tribe of Connacht, as well as the oak tree of the Connacht, respectively. And the hound of Clonmacnoise is shown on the coat of arms of the O'Farrells of Enaly, that's modern County Longford, and they descend from this Clonmacnoise tribe. And Cúrúta in Irish, it is known as their hound is known as the Cúrúta, that's the Irish of the rampant dog. So this is the coat of arms of O'Farrell, and their crest, the Malloy coat of arms, is kind of a copy of it, even though the Malloy coat of arms crest, the hound, the tree, is meant to be representing this Cúrúa. So it's not likely a coincidence. Now remember at the time, the Southern O'Neill power was waning. We have the The Normans are very much active in Ireland. They were present in the east of the province of Meath, was now County Meath. And the Malays, were it's probably strategic. They were looking west across the Shannon, and they were seeing the province of Connacht and the Connachta, and also the Micta as being dominant. Now, that's the oak tree of the Connacht dynasty. Now, summary anyway to the meaning and the origin of the Malay coat of arms. Now, in the crest, we have the hound. The hound is meant to represent the legendary hero of Kiarua, but its design is greatly inspired by the hound of the Comanche tribe of Connacht. Then here, the oak tree, then the background, the oak tree in the crest is represent Dara MacDuda. That's Kiarua's father, but is again greatly inspired by the oak tree of the Connacht dynasty. The black rampant lion, that represents that the Malays have Uanil, Milesian ancestry. Black, however, was chosen rather than red to show neutrality in the once Uanil, Ubru, and Connacht power struggle. And the three trefoils, which surrounded the rampant lion, they're to represent the Christian church and abbey building tradition of the Malay kingdom of Ferkul, within the shadow of nearby Clonmacnoise, Ireland's most dominant monastery. The red for these trefoils is shown from the colours of Neil, but they also represent martyrdom. Now, regarding mottos, the Malay lost motto in the Irish language is Gera agus Dabua, and that means cut and burn to victory. And the origin of that, according to tradition, that's said to be derived from a war cry of Con Céad Cothach, Connacht 100 battles. He was one of the High Kings of Ireland mentioned earlier in the 1106 to 136 AD, according to a book called The First Fos Éireann, and he gave his name to the Connacht dynasty. But there's an alternative motto for the Malays, and that's a Latin motto, Melo Moru Quum Foderi, and that would mean I'd rather die than be disgraced. So these Malays are quite tough-going people anyway. A Malay comes from Wewui, meaning descendant of Wewui, and he was slain in the battles of Brinebrue in 1019 AD. It means proud chieftain. Now, I'm going to finish soon now. I don't want to bore you too much. Now, just an aside, there are other rampant lions on Irish coat of arms. Whenever you have a golden rampant lion, it typically depicts rather than the rampant lion of O'Neill, which tends to be red, the golden rampant lion, it tends to represent Firbog origin or association with the province of Connacht. Now here's some examples. We've got the O'Farrells, I mentioned that earlier. The O'Connors of Sligo, they have a golden rampant lion on the green background. And the O'Reillys of Breffni, they have two golden rampant lions. The O'Reillys are meant to have broke away from the Obruna Connachta, but they have a red hand showing that they have association with the O'Neills of Ulster. This is the oak tree of the Connacht anyway. Now, the oak tree was adopted by the Connachta to proclaim they have Milesian ancestral lineage, but the origins of that oak tree are likely much older. It likely, in my own opinion, probably easily goes to early Bronze Age and late Neolithic. Anyways, yeah. Now, we will finish soon, I do promise. You're probably tired of this, but anyways, yeah. Now, so the coat of arms of O'Daly. Now, the O'Daly coat of arms then, it came after that anyway. So the O'Dalys in medieval Ireland, they were an Irish bardic family who originated in the west of what was once the province of Meath, within the same geography of the Milochlin of Clanconan. And as bards, they travelled much of the country creating poems for various aristocracy. This gives their name in Irish a Dáil, meaning people of assemblies. Note that the Irish Parliament today is called Dáil Éireann. Dáil Éireann means the Assembly of Ireland, same etymology of the Dailies. And as bards, alliances of neutrality between various clans was key. So the design, therefore, is a hybrid mishmash. The upper half of the shield has a black Milesian rampant lion. That's taken from the Malay coat of arms. But the black rampant lion on their side from the O'Neill dynasty. We've got two red hands from the O'Neill dynasty. The lower part of the shield has a red Milesian lion on a yellow background, and that lower red line is said to represent the Bruce dynasty of Scotland. So this is actually an older version of the coat of arms of Scotland. It's actually that rampant lion is meant to also represent the Milesian people who were also come to Ireland. But there was a Scottish gentleman called Edward the Bruce. He's meant to be King of Ireland from 1315 AD to 13 AD, and he's buried actually in County Louth. This is his grave here in County Louth. So the lower part of Daly's, it's pointing towards these Bruces, which were once Kings of Ireland. So it's a bit of a mishmash anyway. And the upper part is a copy of the crest of Malays, but the hound is a bit different. It's not the gold collar that the Malays have. Now, and Last slide, then we're on the Phalons. So the O'Phalons, anyway, they also originated from the Cloncoman area, the ones province of Meath, in the shadow of the hill of Ishnock. Both the shield and the crest of O'Phalon coat of arms, they featured a hound. So there was tradition in the area of hounds. It probably comes from the Fairbog area, in my opinion. So anyways, in Irish mythology, note too that the legendary Hiking of Ireland, Conn Connacht, Connacht of the 100 Battles, said that in its name to the Connacht and the province of Connacht. It also means hound hero in the Irish Sign Language. Con in the Irish language means hound hero. So that's me finished.